They say, well, they don't like Trump, but they love his policy. No, I think they like me too. You know, you can't get elected if they don't like you. I mean, the policy is very important, but if they don't like you, but they always say, they don't like him, but they like his policy. That's why he has these good numbers, you know. But I love you, and I hope you love me. But we fight hard for you. But all polls are bearing this out, these big numbers. I mean, every one of them. I haven't seen one that's even slightly negative. It's driving a lot of people crazy. Oh, CNN's gone crazy. MSDNC has gone absolutely crazy. They don't want to talk about it. But on DeSanctimonious, as you know, I got him elected, but now he's a failed candidate. He failed. He failed before. You know, he came in, I gave him an endorsement, and we lifted him into victory. He was way, way behind. It was over. The race was over. I endorsed him, and he went like a rocket ship, and he won very shortly thereafter. And then I got him past the election, so I got him the nomination, then I got him the election. He ran against a guy at the time who was turned out to be a crackhead, but nobody knew that at the time. At the time, he was the hottest, one of the hottest guys. He was probably the hottest man in the Democrat Party, and Stacey Abrams was the hottest woman in the Democrat Party. He was going to be, they said, the governor of Florida. He couldn't stop him. Ron DeSanctimonious said, oh, I don't think we can beat him. I don't think we can beat him. Because he was. I mean, if you remember back, and I said, you beat him. And we did 2 or 3 giant rallies. We had unbelievable rallies, Trump rallies for him. And then he wins. And then 4 years later, somebody shouted out, will you run against the president? And he said, I have no comment. He said he had no comment. That guy's going to run against me. And I started hitting him, and they all said, sir, he's a Republican. You shouldn't hit him so hard. I said, like hell I shouldn't. And he went down like an injured bird out of the sky. And I'm actually quite happy about that. You know, a lot of people say, loyalty means nothing in politics. Sir, you shouldn't mention it. You're wasting your time. I have genius consultants back there. You know, they get paid a lot of money. They say, sir, loyalty. They actually change their mind now because they see what happened. I said, no, I think loyalty is very important for people. They said, well, in politics, it means nothing. I said, maybe you'll be surprised, but I assume it did. You know, when I get somebody in office and then they turn around, I hardly spoke to the guy, hardly knew him during that period of years. But anytime Florida had problems, I was always there. But then he says a statement that essentially said he was going to run. And so we hit him hard. And he's really, in fact, in South Carolina, he's right now in 4th place. He's in 4th place. And I'm leading the 2nd place by 35 points. You know, they have 2 people. You have a senator and you have a governor in South Carolina. And they thought they were going to do well there. And they're not doing so well. It's a great state for us. And I think we have a lot of people here right now, and I just met a couple backstage from South Carolina. It's great. But we're leading by a lot there. We're leading by a lot everywhere, and a lot of it's because they do like me, but a lot of it's also because there has never been a more incompetent administration in the history of our country than these clowns and thugs and very bad people that are running our country now and destroying our country. There's never been anything like this. But most importantly, far and away, I'm beating Biden by a lot. If I wasn't running, or if I was in 3rd, 4th, or 5th place, or something in that category, none of this interference would have ever happened. None of this horrible stuff with U.S. attorneys and the FBI and DOJ. Oh, we're in a banana republic right now. Think of it. We did great. We won in 2016. People said we wouldn't win. We won. We won big. We did much better in 2020. You know, we got millions and millions more votes, many millions and more votes. We did something very few presidents do. Usually they get less, because we do have to hold on to office. We do have to win. And we can win elections on this issue, but it's very delicate, and explaining it properly is an extremely important thing. You have to be able to speak and explain it properly. And a lot of politicians who are pro-life do not know how to discuss this topic, and they lose their election. We had a lot of election losses because of this, because they didn't know how to discuss it. They had no idea. I heard some of the people discussing it, and they just didn't have a clue. And plus they get $6 billion. Oh, that doesn't sound too good. But that's what happens with this country. I've never seen anything like it, whether it was trade deals or any other kind of deal. It always seems that we get the short end. We did such a job on trade. We redid trade deals at a level that nobody's ever seen before and took bad deals like NAFTA, and we made them great deals, the USMCA. That's United States, Mexico, Canada. We did an incredible trade deal with China that I don't even talk about. They buy $50 billion worth of our farm product and manufactured product, but I don't even talk about it because of what happened with COVID. But South Korea, we did incredible deals. Japan, we did incredible deals. We took deals that were horrible and made them good. And we did a lot of things. We've been given, actually, a lot of credit, even by the fake news. But here at home, we totally transformed the federal judiciary. And as Penny said, I heard her opening remarks, and she said we appointed nearly 300 judges, really brilliant judges, and they interpret the law as written. Constitution, we like to say the Constitution as written. That's the way they interpret. Together we withstood vicious attacks to confirm 3 great Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. Really good people, too. And I'm also proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Very important. We're going to talk about that in just a second. From my first day in office, I took action to protect the unborn. I reinstated the Mexico City policy, stopped taxpayer funding for the abortion of industrial complex, and at the United Nations, I made clear that global bureaucrats have no business attacking the sovereignty of nations that protect innocent life. They have no business doing that. And I was the first sitting president ever to attend, as Penny also mentioned, the March for Life rally right here in Washington, D.C. They talked about attending it. You know, presidents for years talked about attending. Oh, I'm going to go. And then it happened that they didn't go. And none of them went, none of them. But I went, and it was a beautiful day. 1 year ago, in a victory that conservatives had been seeking for 50 years. 50 years they've been fighting for this. Those same Supreme Court justices and the Supreme Court ruled to end the moral and constitutional atrocity known as Roe v. Wade. Very important. Nobody thought that could be done. And so important, and it's not discussed right, it's not talked about right. To be honest, Republicans don't know how to discuss the subject, but they're the radicals, not us. The Democrats are the radicals. So now pro-lifers have a tremendous power to negotiate. You had no power whatsoever. There wasn't a thing you could do. But now you have tremendous power to negotiate, which they didn't have before the ruling. This moves the issue back to the states. Everybody wanted it to go back to the states. All legal scholars on both sides, they wanted it back to the states where it should be. Like President Ronald Reagan before me, I support the 3 exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. And I think it's very hard politically if you don't support, but you have to go with your heart. You have to go with what you believe, and you have to rely on your heart for that. But I do support the exceptions. Ronald Reagan did, and many others do. And I think if you don't, it's politically very difficult. But again, you have to go with what you feel. Remember, the Democrats are the radicals on an issue like this. This is a very important issue, but they're very radical because they're willing to kill babies in their 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th month, and even after birth. You know, they kill babies after birth. You remember the governor? I call him Michael Jackson, remember? He's a big fan of Michael. He was going to almost do the moonwalk, and then his wife stopped him. She did a great thing. It was probably the greatest contribution ever made to him. But he talked about the baby's born, and then we'll discuss with the mother what to do with the baby. The baby is born. And these are extremists, not us. They're the extremists. The politicians and the people that have this issue, they fought for 50 years to get it, and they have to know how to talk about it because they're not talking about it correctly. And when they do talk about it correctly, it's an issue that really can be positive. Joe Biden so well. But I don't like having a name the same for 2 people. So that was a great day for Hillary because After 5 years, I stopped calling her crooked. So now I don't know what to call her, so I just call her beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. But he's crooked as hell. But just today, Fox has me up by almost 50 points on DeSanctimonious and beating Biden. Votes a second time. People get bored. They get tired of him, like we're tired of this guy. But we're tired of him for different reasons, not out of boredom. It's just out of... Actually, he's very exciting because you don't know when he's going to just pop off and explode. You're watching everybody standing on eggs. You say, did he just say that? Did you see him yesterday? It's just not even believable what's going on. I don't know. It's hard to believe he's going to be running. Hard to believe he's going to get to the gate. I don't think he will. But if he does, he does. If he does, he does, whatever. But whether it's him or somebody else, we have no choice. We have to win because their views are just absolutely